is the Tuesday, April 12th meeting of the Harbor Management Commission's Mooring Committee. Its regular meeting at 5:30 p.m. In person and in the first floor conference room in Sullivan Independence Hall in Fairfield, and also by conference call. We have a flag in the room, and so we should do the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first item on our agenda, Mr. Harbor Master, is your report. It's including the waiting list status, the permit renewal process, and information about the online mooring system and vacant mooring assignment. Turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you know, we had 6 available moorings at the start of this season. However, those were due to non-renewals and one that was never assigned last year before I was appointed for the summer. However, we also had 2 moorings that were in the federal channel, South Wall 00 and 01. So effectively, we have room for 4 new people. The 2 vessels on the south wall were both accommodated along the south wall in new locations. We were able to take 4 boats off the waiting list and put them in. One was a priority riparian, one was a priority fishing, commercial fishing, and 2 were larger vessels. Actually, we've taken a 42 and a 43-foot sailboat and put them both into the harbor. And we accommodated 1 vessel that wanted to be moved from one location on the mid-wall onto the Helix area, and we were able to do that as well. So we have good locations for all the boats. And the first boat on the waiting list declined. It was a 35-foot power boat, also a commercial boat, and he declined the mooring and wanted to come off the list. So we confirmed and removed him. The next 2 are a 42-foot sailboat and a 43-foot sailboat. So that was good. We were able to accommodate some of the larger boats in the Helix area. I'm still waiting for 7 vessels, still have incomplete documents. They provided most, but not all of their documents. I'm just waiting for the final information from them. On the commercial fishermen who I've allowed in, I've given a list of exactly what is required for him to take a spot as a commercial fisherman and what will be required of him during the season, not just a commercial license, but he's required to file, as you may know, catch reports on a monthly basis with DEEP, and I've indicated that not only would I want those, but he's subject to my inspection at any time during a calendar month for his catch reports, which are supposed to be completed each time he goes fishing. And I cautioned him that it has to be a operational commercial vessel with these reports to take a spot ahead of other individuals. So I'm waiting for him to make the next move if he is going to accept on those terms. I've not heard back from him yet. On the renewals, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there are 8 folks that have not renewed yet. I followed up with all of them. Some said they're going to be mailing the checks in. A few had computer issues. One is coming off. So I'll finalize that shortly. I inspected all the moorings that were pulled from the North Anchorage. I went through them all with Travis from the Yacht Club. He had them tagged. I reviewed all the tags, what was being replaced. It seemed like a very conservative replacement. He had a very conservative outlook, a liberal replacement, but he was very conservative with what was being replaced rather than running a risk on any of them regarding shackles, eyes, chains, etc. So I was very pleased with what I saw. The moorings are all going in. As of Sunday, a number of them were out except for the mid-wall, and I know the mid-wall was going to be placed yesterday. I've been in communication Sunday night with Travis about the space we needed for some vessels in that area. One of the gentlemen got a larger vessel, so we were able to accommodate that by moving a few of the moorings because we also had some smaller sailboats in that area to make everyone fit. So that has gone well. We had some problems when I went into the waiting list with the software because the records were not documented correctly in the past when people gave up moorings or moved moorings. So we were able to correct everything. I have a good understanding as to what the issues were, and they did some digging at Online Mooring, and we corrected the problems with the database, so it looks pretty good right now. So right now everything seems under control. We have the stickers all went out to the boats that completed their registration and other documents, along with a drawing showing where their boats are. And the stickers this year are different. They're all labeled as to the exact location of a vessel. So, for instance, Perry's Green is PG. West Wall is WW1 through WW10. Mid-Wall is MW1 through MW14. So anyone in the harbor will be able to tell if a vessel is out of position, whether it be me, Pequot, or other vessel owners who may be confused as to where their boat goes, because every sticker is going to have the number as to its exact location where it belongs. So I think that'll be helpful in keep monitoring the boats over the summer. I went to a meeting last week at the Yacht Club regarding the parade and the blessing of the fleet and how we're going to be doing that. And that's basically my report. I don't know if there's any questions, Mr. Chairman.
I had one. The riparian vessel that is placed this year, is that the one that went into the previously unassigned spot? Is it a Perry Green spot?
No, it's a Perry Green spot he's going into, yes. Okay. It's a very small sailboat with a long keel, but it's a, I think it's not it might be an Ensign or the O'Day version, the Rhodes. I can't remember. I could tell you, I can dig here a little bit. Okay. But yeah, that went into a Perry's Green spot, not the West Wall spot that came open.
And did the boater accept that?
I spoke to his attorney, and he will be. He is just getting me his information regarding his insurance for the vessel.
Good. Okay.
I've not heard from the commercial fishermen after I sent the email, which I copied you on 10 days ago, Mr. Chairman.
So if the commercial fisherman decides not to pursue that, then we'd be back to the next appropriate vessel on the waiting list then?
Yes, we'll be down. The next appropriate, that's correct, would be most likely a 28-foot power boat, because the boat above him is a 43-foot sailboat, which would not fit at the West Wall location that became available. That was Mr. Flaster's. That was Seashell, which was a 26 Alarian in there up until this year.
Okay.
So right now on the waiting list, just so you know, we have a 43-foot sailboat, and then a 28-foot power boat, a 25-foot power boat, a 20-foot power boat, a 36-foot sailboat, and then 3 smaller power boats ranging from 17 to 25 feet, and then a larger sailboat again.
I don't recall if you said how many people are on the waiting list right now, and I didn't look before the meeting, but my look a year ago, we had just about 70 people, and my recollection is we're very close to the same number now with our issuing and people deciding not to pursue, offset by people joining. Is that right?
Yeah, we might be closer to 81, but we took a few up. We're in the same range, yes.
It's interesting. So one of the things our intention was instituting that $10 fee was to not have the people with permits subsidizing the people on the waiting list for our online mooring expenses, but it has the additional, I think, salutary effect of causing folks who aren't really serious to think twice about renewing their waitlist position. So
yeah, and only one person complained about it so far, complained about the fee.
Yeah.
And I explained why, that it was basically because it was software, which we are now using. So I've removed I believe 3, 4. I believe I've removed 4 so far that advised me. There'll be a few more coming off, and I'll have that update shortly.
And the process piece that you were alluding to is about people being moved off the waiting list into an assigned mooring was being a challenge in the processing On mooring? Okay.
Yeah, because you have to release the mooring. You have to go into the mooring, not just the individual, and offer them the position. I was running into the problem trying to put boats into give them a mooring, and it says the mooring is not available, even though I know it is. And then we dug down with tech support, and they said, aha, one of your predecessors didn't know you've got to unassociate all vessels from that mooring to make the mooring appear free-floating again before you put someone on the mooring. So they couldn't even tell at first. Then we realized what the problem was. It's not, when someone comes off or gets reassigned, you have to go into the mooring as well and clean up the mooring database. So it's not, once you know how, it's not a big, it's pretty simple to do.
Right. And do we have an update? Jeff Engborg's here also, and you're on the phone, about the update of the mooring tackle records into the online mooring system? So we just completed the North Anchorage this cycle. Are those now updates in the system?
I was going to go in and do that manually, Mr. Chairman,
Okay.
because I looked at all of them, and I don't know that we need individual data, and Jeff and I spoke about this as to each one, because, when I went out there and looked, they have a tagging system where they've tagged everything that's being replaced, and that's a good way. And I'll just go in manually and confirm that they've all been inspected and they've all been updated as necessary as to what was being done with each one of them, which I think is probably a good way to keep those records.
So if you do that, do you have to go into all the North Anchorage mooring records, or can you do them in a blanket way? That was one of the issues that Jeff Engborg was asking about. Can they be done as a block as opposed to one by one?
I'm going to try as a block, but if not, I'll just jump into the one by one and indicate that I've inspected them when I inspected them a few weeks ago, and they, I'm satisfied with them, with what the club is doing to them, maintaining them.
Those are my questions. Anybody else have questions for the harbor master?
And like I said, they're very conservative with what they're going to replace. They take a conservative view of what's worn and what's not. Some, I may not as the layman have replaced, because you could probably get at least a couple of years, and they said to be safe, they can't run the risk of anyone breaking or anything happening. So when in doubt, replace to be strong and secure. And I agree with that logic.
So Brian, this is Kim. I was going to say, you are the only person that really knows how online mooring works. I'm hoping that in your free time this summer, you'll put together a user's manual so that...
It's funny you mention that. I've been making copious notes when I talked to Jen in handwriting that I was going to type and put that together so folks, step by step what to do, so we don't have to reinvent the wheel ever again in the future.
That's fabulous. That is just fabulous.
You might be able to sell it to online mooring.
Not that I'm going anywhere, but yes, I should, because their user manual is not that helpful. If you look at it, it's very high level, and there's no in-depth user. There's no online mooring for dummies book that goes into depth on this.
Fair enough.
But I do have to let you know that one of the mooring people on our list also is on a waiting list of somewhere in Rhode Island, near Point Judith, and I don't remember which harbor on the river there. He sent me a copy. They use online mooring, and they initiated a $15 fee this year for staying on their waiting list for their harbor, somewhere north of Stonington. One of those.
Yeah, Stonington is I think 25 now to be on the waiting list. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next item is an update on DEEP's reaction to the notion of creating a Fairfield Deputy Harbor Master. I did speak to Jeff Stedman, who I think, Jeff, you're not on the line, right? Jeff's away today. Jeff told me that he did speak to the contact at DEEP, and they would be very supportive of us having a Deputy Harbor Master, and he'll report that next week at the meeting. So that's, I think, my sense was most of the commissioners felt like that was a pretty good idea to have the backup. So, and then I received, and I don't know, Brian, if you also received a notice from Online Mooring about a update to their fee structure going forward. As I looked at it, and I don't know if you've looked at it, it looks to me like as long as we continue doing what we're doing and using as many records with a $6 charge per record as we are, that this is going to have zero impact on us. So this is really to deal with people who are monopolizing their customer service time or their help desk time and had very few people that they actually were attending as moorings, under 100. So
yeah, and as I read it, Mr. Chairman, the online, the email technical support is still available at no cost to us. And a lot of times that's how I'll do it. I'll email Jen, she's the tech support, and with the issues, and we do back and forth a few times, and then she'll do some screenshots as she goes into it. So it's fine doing it that way. There's nothing that's that urgent that I need immediate, correction on, given the purpose of the software. So.
And the good news is they didn't change the fee structure.
Right.
So,
Right.
in general. So
Right.
we're still in the same situation that we're in with some cushion from, I think, with the fees that we're charging and the what we're actually paying for this system.
And one thing, if I may go back to my report, June 11th is the Blessing of the Fleet this year. If you want to add that to your calendars, 8:30 breakfast at the Southport School. The cannon will fire at precisely 11:55, and the first boat is to go over the blessing line at 12 noon exactly.
So June 11, and it kicks off at 8:30.
Well, 8:30, yes. June 11th, 8:30 will be the breakfast at Southport School. The parade, the parade at 11:55, they're going to ask the yacht club to shoot their cannon. I don't know if they've done that yet. And they want the first boat to come over the blessing line at 12 p.m. And they indicated there was confusion in the past, which I advised them I could just send an e-blast to all the vessels in the harbor telling them, so there is no confusion, what the times are, and to invite everyone. And likewise, I can have Justin send one out to South Benson, so the boats coming up from there will know where to queue up, so there's no confusion. So I think it'll be fine.
That's great. It's another good opportunity to use that capability. Right?
Yeah.
Anything else for today?
I think just on that, the commission is hoping to have an insert in the Blessing of the Fleet program that just raises awareness of what we do. And I think the plan is to have like 7 things or 5 things you might not know about the harbor. Maybe the number of boats and and 200 years ago they dredged it with using oxen and road scrapers. And I don't know. Jeff is working on that and inserting that in the program. So.
Now, our annual report, I assume we'll also use the emailing system to distribute that like we did last year. Is that your expectation?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Good.
Because you've already mailed out the stickers, right? Or you're in the course of doing that?
No, the stickers have all gone out, correct.
Yeah. So, and last year what we did is we sent the stickers and sent the annual report as an email attachment.
Right, correct.
Using the online mooring system.
Correct. And Jeff is working on the annual report as well. Yeah.
Right, Jeff's working on it. Yeah.
And if you have something, if someone's working for an insert, I can bring that up at the next. They're planning on having several more meetings, I believe, about the parade and the blessing. I can, if no one's done that, I can make the inquiry at one of those meetings as to providing the insert to whoever is doing the printing.
That's great, Brian. I think we'll know more. I'm not sure what Jeff has done. He and Don Hyman have been working together on that. And Jeff is away. So we should know next Tuesday at the commission meeting kind of where we are and what we have. But Jeff puts together the program for the blessing. So I think that loop is closed, but I'm not sure. So that might be.
Okay.
You might, if you could just keep your ears peeled and to hear.
Sure.
I'm on the outside looking in, so that's kind of everything I know.
Okay.
It sounds to me like we've done a good job getting through the renewal season and that the yacht club has gotten us in really good shape for the new boating season. And if we have more days like today, people will be itchy.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
All right.
And Friday is the day, right? Nothing can happen till Friday?
The 15th, so that's, was it Friday, Saturday?
Yeah. The boatyard can get any help to put boats together right now. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else for today? Mr. Carroll?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, I'd like to thank the harbor master for delivering my morning paper.
Thank
you, Brian.
I thought you didn't know it was me.
The Helix area, were there any vacant mooring spots in the Helix area
Yes.
at the beginning of this boating season?
Yeah, there were two spots available in that area.
And 2 sailboats were placed in on those moorings?
Yes, a boat came off the waiting list that is a 42-foot sailboat is being placed there, and then a 49-foot sailboat is being relocated from across along the wall to the Helix area, and a 43-foot sailboat is being put with a 49-foot sailboat was kept. So I have it with large sailboats in that area. Yes.
That is great. You're maintaining the integrity of the of that lovely spot off Perry Green. And how is your law practice going these days, Brian?
Law practice is great. Very busy. Plenty of time.
You've been a busy individual, and for all, once again, well done. I think we're in good shape. So on behalf of the public, who may just be me, I would again say thank you for your efforts on behalf of the Harbor Management Commission.
Well, thank you.
Much appreciated. All right, I think we are adjourned.
Great.
Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the weather.
Happy
Thank you.
Easter, all.
Happy
Thank
Easter.
you.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.